I'd say that the biggest difference from last year's Rideout to this year's Rideout was there's two main differences. One was the anticipation. I mean, all through the spring, people were just asking and questioning, like, when's the Rideout? You guys doing another Rideout? SE Bikes, you guys need to come to Philly again. We need another Rideout. You know, so that was a big thing leading up to it. And then at the ride, there was probably at least twice the amount of riders at this year's ride. I mean, it's upwards of 600 or more riders. And then another thing that was a little bit different this year was last year when we rolled up to the start spot, there was cops swarming the place. I mean, in the parking lot, there was probably 30 to 40 cops. This year at the meetup spot, there was one cop car in the back corner, just kind of keeping an eye on everything, and that was about it. So this year's Rideout was really cool that the police officers, kind of just let the ride happen and take its course. The Philly Rideout was such a success last year that it was, it goes without saying that we had to do another Rideout there this year. I mean, Philadelphia and New York are the two kings of the bike life movement as well as SE sales. There's so many kids riding around on SE bikes, whether it's SoCal Flyers, Big Grippers, OM Flyers, all kinds of our bikes are already on the streets, and we have so much, support in Philadelphia. And, there's just so much support for the brand in Philadelphia, with a lot of the Oneway riders, the Oneway crew, as well as, Oneway Mac and Oneway, and especially Oneway Corey. It's like SE, it's like we really have the city on lock, it's like there's so many kids that ride SEs, and there's so many people that love SE, and we love the riders. We love being involved with the bike life movement, and we love riding with the guys. We love interacting with them on social media and stuff. So, for us to do another Rideout is almost a way of kind of giving thanks. And we printed up, over 200 of the Philly Rideout, stickers, and we handed out Philly Rideout stickers, to everyone. It was SE Philly Rideout stickers that we handed out to 200 different people. And we also printed up, over 200 shirts. We had the SE Philly Rideout, shirts that say, "We ride as one" underneath the logo,
Ty, what we got right here, Ty?
We got chaos, man. Hey, Vince, I'm gonna give Vince a bunch of larges, and he's gonna walk around and give these SE Philly We Ride as One shirts out.
Right? Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. Like, really.
Hey, wear the shirt. Go wear the shirt. Yo, stop.
Let me figure this out. Wait. Talent now with these riders, I mean, it's crazy. You're seeing kids do tricks that you've never seen the big dogs do. It's like you got literally 12-year-old kids doing some foot combo or some some sort of trick that you're like, whoa, I ain't never seen that before. Not even any of the big guys are doing them. So it's really cool. The kids are just adapting and learning their own tricks. And it's some people, you look at it like, oh, they're just doing wheelies, how hard is a wheelie, but man, the wheelies that these kids are doing nowadays are crazy technical, they're wheelies that, in all the decades of BMX, none of these, some of these tricks, nobody in the BMX world has ever done them, so the bike life movement really is, putting a whole new spin on, technical wheelies, doing wheelies that have never been done before in, the 40 plus years of BMX. When we left 30th and Gray's Ferry at the meetup spot, we rode all the way down Washington Ave, and we stopped at a performance bike shop there, and it was really cool because the guys at Performance had waters for everyone, and it was a pretty nice day, but it was still definitely hot. So for everyone to get waters there and kind of kick it in the parking lot and hang out was really, really cool. This whole kind of bike life movement is, that's one of the things we preach, we ride as one, and it's like once we're all riding together on bikes and having fun, nothing else matters. We're all riding bikes together, we're riding as one, and it's really just a great feeling to just be with everyone and have no care in the world except riding and enjoying our day out. From there, we headed across the bottom of town over to Transport Cycles. Transport Cycles is on a really narrow street, and when we rolled up there, the plan was just to ride by and say what's up to the guys there, Anyway, you know, we didn't just ride by and say what's up. We stopped there, and there's just so many of us that it kind of just shut the street down, you know, and it was just a crazy scene, and it was pretty fun that we just all kind of hung out with the guys at Transport Cycles.
Bike life! Bike life! Bike life! Let's roll!
This is a homage beat.
And finally we left there, and from there we were supposed to head over to Market Street and then go up and ride around City Hall and then go over to the art museum and then head back to the start spot, and that was going to be the whole ride. That was a 12-mile loop, but we didn't quite make it over to Market Street. We got on another street. I'm not sure what the name of it is, but we went north and we went past the you know, the City Hall, and then we went past the art museum, you know, that was to the west of us, and we stayed on that street, and it just kept going further and further. And by this time the ride was spread out, and you got to remember there was about, you know, over 600 people on this ride, and at this stage, you know, the ride was probably stretched out for, shoot, at least, you know, nearly half a mile or more, you know, and, you know, but the ride just kept going. The ride just took a life of its own. Anyway, then finally we got all the way up to, I think it was 52nd Avenue, and finally it turned left, you know, and then when it turned left, it went down a few blocks and it stopped at a Sunoco gas station. And at that Sunoco, everybody gathered up again, which is kind of cool because sometimes on these rides, it gets so spread out that it's, you know, almost like you're just going on a casual ride instead of riding with hundreds of your buddies. So when the ride stopped at the Sunoco, everybody caught up to the ride, and it probably took 20 minutes for everybody to catch up. And then when we left there was one of the guys that he was kind of leading the ride, I guess, and I was like, hey, where are we going from here? You know, let's get back in the city. And he's like, no, let's go through the hood. I want to take everyone through the hood. I'm like, all right, let's go through the hood. And anyway, so we cruised, you know, zigzagged through the hood up there. And then from there, you know, we finally, you know, just, you know, made all kinds of wild turns and you know, turned these neighborhoods upside down, so to speak, for a quick second, where people are like, what the hell? Look at all these bike riders coming through here. You know, one of our main focuses is getting more kids on bikes. You know, we've got a hashtag, let's get kids on bikes. You know, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, is just getting more kids on bikes. You know, we've created 2 new bikes this year, 2 brand new models, brand new frames, brand new parts. The Blocks Flyer is a 26-inch bike, and the Big Flyer is a 29-inch bike. Both of these bikes were, you know, designed specifically for this bike life movement. You know, the Blocks Flyer as itself, with the name, you know, the word blocks is how the riders, you know, jokingly talk about how far they can wheelie. You know, you got blocks, I got 2 blocks, I got 5 blocks, I got blocks. And like I said, we created 2 new bikes, you know, for this market. And on these, you know, these 2 new bikes, the Blocks Flyer and the Big Flyer, you know, we're selling these bikes with pegs, you know, 2 pegs on the rear, you know, wheelie pegs. This new bike life movement is having a profound effect on us as a company, and actually with our sales as well. You know, our sales in this market are phenomenal. You know, and I think that SE has a really good, profound, and positive influence on a lot of these riders. You know, we're getting riders back on bikes, we're getting kids off their cell phones, off their iPads, off of video games. We're getting kids to stay out of trouble. You know, SE's influence to the, you know, the riders, and especially the younger riders, is phenomenal. You know, I think it's given the kids, you know, a good direction and something to focus on and something to put a lot of effort on, you know, and really helping to keep kids out of trouble. You know, there's a lot of trouble that a kid can get in nowadays, you know. For a lot of people, the ride ended at the art museum because we sat there and we hung out. Some people were riding down the steps. We were taking photos. People were signing autographs. You know, it was just really kind of a hang out, have fun there. And after a while, like I said, a lot of people, you know, that had to get home left from there. But there was still at least over 200 people that just, you know, hung out there, you know, for an hour and a half or so. And, you know, when it was all said and done, you know, with the Philly Rideout, you know, we rode 35 miles, you know, with hundreds of riders together and with really no main issues, which is really amazing. like I said, the Philly Rideout was, over 35 miles all through the city. We snaked in and out of every little road in the city, and it was really, really a fun experience for everyone involved. The bike life scene is really growing by leaps and bounds. I mean, only a few years ago it seemed like most people didn't even know what bike life was. And now, especially in the BMX world, if you mention bike life, they know D-Block's name, they know Oneway Corey's name, they know what's going on in the streets of Philadelphia and New York. I mean, it's really the bike life movement has really become a segment, which, like I said, a few years ago didn't even really exist, and people used to think that, this whole bike life scene was just an inner city thing, kids in the city doing wheelies in the streets and in traffic, but it's more than that, bike life is just, really riding bikes, a lot of the big wheel BMX bikes and doing wheelie tricks and having fun with your friends, it's not all about just these crazy rideouts that take over the streets, bike life is just being on your bike and being one with your bike and having fun on your bike and with your friends. In the whole bike life scene, people used to think it just, evolved in the cities and stayed in the cities, but it is definitely now, it's out in the suburbs, it's in, it's at the beaches, it's all around, and it's actually worldwide now, so this whole thing about just getting on bikes and getting out and having fun, it's really starting to spread, and social media is definitely helping that, because people from all around the world are seeing posts on social media, D-Blocks has nearly 300,000 followers. Oneway Corey has over 100,000 followers, so, their reach really is worldwide, and it is really spreading worldwide. Bike life is here, and it's here to stay.